Hello and welcome to my studio. I'm Jessie and this is the Knit Up and Dye podcast, episode 96, Filthy, Rough, But Here. As always, I'm going to start with my thank yous. Special thank you to all of my subscribers, both new and ongoing. I love you guys. What you see here is really all about you, and I take your feedback and your suggestions very seriously and try to integrate everything that you want. Hello to Bente, Johan, Joanne, Baylor Betty, thank you for adding me to your lives. Special love and thanks go out to Tara, Diane, Allison, Barbara, Faye, Julie, Janelle, Erica, Adriana, Wayne, Sonia, Patricia, Lisa Lette, Cappy, Kath, Benty, Christy, Neetsy, Charlotte, Chris, Roseanne, Linda, Marie, Eve, David, Donna, Betty Ann, Scott and John, Jessica, Kate, Janet and Terry at Unwound, Monica, Bex, Carolyn, Nancy and Rachel, and Jorge. Special love goes out to my Zoom family, Robert, Roz, Paula, Brian, Jen, Elizabeth, Nicole M, Nicole B, Katie, Shirley, Tracy, and Georgianne. I love you guys and hanging out with you is everything. A warm hello and thank you go out to my patrons. You honor me. Thank you for your support. As you can tell, I am out of breath, and that is partially because of the treatments that I'm undergoing and partially because I'm still not well. But it was very important to me today, even as late in the day as it is. I've got our lighting up. Thank you guys very much for that support. To sit down with you, I really wanted to do this today, and I have a lot of stuff that I want to show you. But I am on some medication, and I am a little bit short of breath, and I'm going to do the best that I can. I talked to you guys last time about my health and how I've been sick since December. Update. Yesterday I went into urgent care. I drew the line and I said enough. I'm tired of coughing. I'm tired of being sick. And I found a wonderful doctor. She was so helpful. The entire staff, start to finish, was really fantastic. And that means a lot. And going in with a positive attitude and a sense of humor sure helps. I was very concerned, because I wasn't taking it very seriously, that I was going to be handed a cough drop and a $200 bill and be sent on my way. Very much not the case. I had an x-ray. I do not have any broken ribs from coughing. Yay. I do not have pneumonia. Yay. I do not have strep. Yay. What I do have is the remainders of pertussis, whooping cough. Yeah, it was not good. I have had both flu A and B to the best of their capacity to test. I have had a cold, and I currently have exacerbated asthma, as well as an upper respiratory infection. So it is actually quite complicated, and fortunately the medicine for this is short and easy. I have been nebulized, which means I did an inhaler in the urgent care. I have had a strong dose of antibiotics, which, whew, boy, are those nasty tasting. I am on an antibiotic protocol for the next week. I am on a steroid protocol for the next week. And I am on an inhaler for the next 2 weeks, as well as have an option for an emergency inhaler, just to get me beyond this. What was happening was I had an upper respiratory infection. It was affecting my sinuses, my throat. I felt like I was swallowing a tennis ball every time I tried to swallow. I had swollen glands. I had a temperature I was still running. So sinuses as well as lungs. Whenever I laughed or I talked too long or tried to project too hard, it was triggering my asthma just because it was already so irritated. And I have very, very mild asthma that does not normally need to be treated. Asthma comes and presents in many forms. Mine presents as a bronchial spasm here in my chest, and it sets me up with whooping cough so that I'm doing a cough and a spasm and a cough and a spasm and nothing is producing, and this becomes this loop that I can't break until either I break or I literally gag, and that reaction, that kind of choke, will break that cycle. Or I focus very, very hard knowing that it's asthma. And I started to breathe slowly and deeply through my nose rather than my mouth to slow it down and try and trick the spasm into not happening. It's difficult, it's not fun. Cough drops do not help this. Cough syrup does not help this. I need a steroid to stop this and to break the inflammation cycle as much as possible. As well as, you know, clean environment and self-care and lots of rest, and we've tried that. It's time to heavy hit and do the meds. And so I'm doing that. I am not somebody who jumps to medicine. I'm not somebody who jumps to antibiotics. I have a very, very natural lifestyle. I'm much more inclined to tea and honey and these things. And for me to wholeheartedly, willingly accept these medications is also a sign that I have been sick. I am done with this. I'm done with this. And I need to get healthy because I love what I do and I want to be here. I want to be present for you folks. I don't like taking weeks off from my podcasting. I don't like days where I can't die or I'm too tired to knit. This is so important to me. This is my love. This is what I want to do. I want to be here with you. I want to sit down and have this chat. I want to spend time with you. I want to produce and I want to design. And at the same time, being able to go to work and do my job well and not be exhausted from that is important to me as well. I like what I do. So here it is. I'm doing better. My depression, thank you so very much. I did talk very bluntly and very honestly about my depression on my last episode. I guess it's been 2 weeks and I'm sorry for that. I got wonderful support from you guys. Thank you so much. It meant the world to me. It has helped me. I am in a much better place. I am doing well. The steroids that I'm taking are going to do some funky things to me, and I know that. I'm already experiencing it. Regaining my health is so important that another week of depression, I'll take it. I will take it. I know how I respond. I know what I'm in for. My husband is incredibly supportive and he is there for me. We both recognize that it's chemical and that my head just gets a little screwy from time to time and he's there for me. I'm taking great care with that. I have my therapist on speed dial and he is fantastic. I feel confident and I'm willing to accept some bad mindset for a week or so to get through this and get healthy. And that's where I'm at. But I am so much better than I was. And I'm so grateful to everyone who shared their personal stories, who understood my struggle firsthand, or worse, I'm sorry, secondhand, and have had to deal with loss, or the struggle, or divorce, or subsequent depression. Guys, I know. God, I know, and I'm sorry. We're a family, and I'll hold your hand every step of the way. And I support you reaching out and holding mine. Thank you. So, you mean a lot to me. Really, you do. I'm not crying because I'm depressed. I am crying because I wish I could scoop you all up and drop you in a tub full of squishy hand-dyed yarns and knit your troubles away. So much so. Moving on. Thank you all so much for your generous purchases, your generous donations, your generous everything, even just your well wishes. Paperback Writer announced today they are fully funded. Yes, Terry is going to be able to buy her trike. She is going to be able to continue to safely deliver books to children and anybody who wants them for free out of her little free library in La Crosse, Wisconsin. She got fully funded. She'll be able to buy that trike and upgrade her distribution system for literacy. And it's not until next week that we make our final donation. I reached out to her as soon as she had announced, and I said, and you have our money still coming. I don't have a number yet. I will announce that next episode, absolutely. But continuing through the month of February, 10% of all yarns through my shop are going to her. 50% of all pattern sales through the month of February are going to her. I am sold out of the Paperback Writer exclusive colorway. It was limited. If you want it, I will custom dye it for you, and 50% of that purchase will go to her. But otherwise, we are sold out. Thank you, everyone who purchased that colorway. It was beautiful. It was designed with her in mind, And I am so proud of the opportunity to do this, to help her raise funds for this. So we still have a donation going in, and we still have an opportunity to make that big. And when I reached out to her and I told her, hey, your money is still coming, we have an additional donation for you, she was thrilled. She says, you know, locks and lights and any unforeseen expenditures, absolutely, thank you. She's very, very grateful, and certainly grateful for the donation that we already did. And Terry, I love you, and your heart is so in the right place, and I am so proud to help you with that, as is all of my viewers, all of my customers. The messages that I got, I forwarded on to Terry. So much generosity and so many well wishes. Thank you guys. You make me proud, and I can't believe the impact that we've been able to give in a very worthy cause. Moving on. Clearly I'm all riled up and excited, and I just don't have the lung capacity, but we're going to do the best we got. Like I said, I am filthy. I've been doing chores today and running around, and I'm really rough, but I'm here. I'm here. So I've been knitting, and I'm excited about that. My How to Eat an Elephant blanket, I haven't touched it. That's not true. I did touch it, I just didn't knit it. And I touched it because I received a gift from my mom. It was my birthday present. And I had told her that the green basket that I had it all loaded into was getting a little overwhelmed. And I love her coil baskets. They're beautiful. She sells them at craft fairs. And she has an Etsy shop that unfortunately right now doesn't have any product in it. Mom! But really beautiful stuff, and she does do custom orders. And it is Harbor House Baskets. And she made me a covered basket. I love it. It is huge. I've got this nice big, great big blue coil basket. And she used this so cool Muppet fabric and did a whole drawstring top that's attached to it. So I have not only the whole capacity of this great big basket for all of the yarns, but then my blanket fits on top and is protected from dust and sun and everything else while I work on it for the next 5 years of my life. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Mom, thank you. I've thanked you repeatedly by phone and email, but thank you. So this drawstring has Muppet fabric on it, and it is so cute. All of the characters are on it. I'm going to try to just hold this up in front of the camera so you can kind of see it. They're all kind of chalk sketched in primary colors, and I just love it. And my husband and I play this game where we look at it and we try and figure out who's missing. I love it. It's so pretty, and it holds all of the skeins and the whole blanket. It's all nice and included. I did warn her that eventually the blanket wasn't going to fit in here, just because theoretically more yarn goes in, more yarn goes in, more yarn goes in, and the blanket grows. But reasonably, if I start actually working on this and I don't put too much more yarn in it, I'll have room for quite a long time. Nice drawstring top on it. I love this. So thank you, Mom. And yes, I need to knit on it. I haven't gotten to that because I've had a couple other projects I've been giving love and energy to, probably a little bit disproportionate to the way I should. Isn't that a knitter's way? We find something we fall in love with and we chase it. My acrylic socks are done, and I've had them set aside for you guys. I haven't worn them yet. I literally set them aside just so I could show them off. And I don't have my sock blockers with me, but I have 2 complete socks. These are my wool-free socks. The yarn is wool-free sock by Premier Yarns. I bought this online. I don't remember if it was Webs or yarn.com, which I think is Webs, or Love Knitting. I don't recall. I'm sorry, guys. But it was super affordable. 2 50-gram skeins. These look ridiculous because I've got ribbing here that is sucking in beautifully, and I've got my crazy long feet. But both socks are done, and I can't wait to start wearing them and be able to report back to you guys about the durability of it, which I suspect is going to be really, really good. Pretty colors, really happy with them. The hand on it is lovely. They're squishy. They're very elastic because of that And thank you, Betty Ann, for explaining, for looking up and giving me the information about that. They are 93% acrylic and they are 7% PBT, which is a product that makes them very elastic. Thank you very much. I love them. I wanted to show them to you before I start wearing them. They're done. I finished something. I finished something. The Squircle socks, they are in timeout. I need to sit down when I have a nice clear head and sort out what stage everybody is at and what needs to be done so I can finalize that and film the tutorial. I hope to do that in the very near future. I'm hoping to dedicate an evening this week to that. Everything else is in timeout except for one other thing that I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay. What have I been designing? The other thing I've been knitting. I talked to you guys very briefly that I had a single skein pattern that I was developing to be cohesive in a collection with Barn Dance and my farmhouse shawls. I'm sorry. My farmhouse shawl was a 2-color shawl. I have an example of it here. And then Barn Dance was its big sister, a 3-color version that I have here. These are 3/4 square shawls, which means instead of a regular triangular shawl, I've made a 3rd panel and I've made a cutout here at the cast on edge so that you've got this nice neckline and then this 3-sided piece. I'm trying to show you. And it's a really fun and very, very wearable shape. I love them. I love them. I'm so glad that I developed that neck hole on it because it really tucks in around and gives you a lot of options. But I wanted to develop a single skein version. Unfortunately, with the single skein version, you lose the ability to stripe. And with these patterns, as you can tell, both of them are striped. So to remain cohesive, to make it part of a connected group of patterns, I needed to copy over some elements and maintain the overall feel of it. How do you do that when you don't have multiple colors and everything else is multiple colors? Lace. So each of these patterns contain lace panels in them that are identical. They share across the patterns, and of course the edging on it is a matching lace. So I wanted to continue a pattern that mimicked that but was in a single color without being straight stockinette. I'm not a huge fan of straight stockinette. I find it boring back and forth because it's forever in knit, forever in purl, and I find that I knot off during the knits and then I get sloppy during my purls. I wanted it to be fun. Stockinette, when you're working stripes and you're changing colors every 2 rows, is fun because you're watching it build and you're seeing the colors interact and you don't knot off quite so easily. Stockinette in a single color, not my favorite. Not my favorite. If it's yours, I'm sorry. Enjoy it. I hope you love it. Just not me. So I wanted in this design not to have a lot of stockinette, but still have the concept and idea of this and the same lace passages. So I've done a very simple lace to kind of give it that row, that striping sort of feeling, and then incorporate the other laces that are in it. It is still on the needle, so it looks like ramen noodles. And sadly, it's even mid-row. Oh Lord, I never stopped mid-row. Something must have interrupted me. But it's also a 3/4 shape. Like I said, it's a single skein. And I'm doing a lace pattern, very, very simple yarn over knit 2 together. I'm sorry, yarn over SSK to open the hole. And then it's mimicking those laces that were in the other 2 patterns. It is going to be slightly shorter. We're working with less yardage, but it's going to be a single color that's going to wrap beautifully. I think this would be a beautiful shawlette accent for prom, for a wedding, just for a cool spring evening. I'm really excited about the design. I'm hoping this color photographs nicely, and I am a little bit concerned about what I'm going to wear under it to photo it properly and really be able to get you to see the lace pattern. Let me try and hold it up one more time with a white backer and hopefully you guys can kind of see what's going on there. Until it's blocked, you're not going to see well. Maybe. Very simple. I'm not doing something complicated. I'm trying very hard to create a design that is fun, that is engaging, that is a enjoyable knit. I'm excited about it. It's coming along very quickly. I only have maybe 30 more rows before I do the lace edge. And then I'm going to be looking for testers. So if you're looking at this and you're thinking, hey, I'm interested in that. We are in February now, end of February. Wow, it goes fast. So I'm looking at a target and test knit of the beginning of May. And my pattern is nearly written. I'm hoping to get that written up pretty quick. If you are interested in test knitting, please reach out to me. Send me an email and just let me know. And we will work together and we'll get that worked out. We will do that. I'm excited to that. If you are new to me and you're like, oh, that's lovely, I want to do that, I'm interested, or I want to know more, you know, could you tell me a little bit more about the pattern before I commit? Please reach out to me. Test knitting for me is generally super, super easy. I don't keep hard deadlines. You can be brand new. You don't ever have to have test knit for anybody before. All I ask is that you knit the pattern exactly as I have written it. Don't get creative. Don't do it your own way. Just follow the instructions. And if you get stuck on anything at all, reach out to me and we'll work through it. Because you getting stuck or you having questions is what test knitting is about. It's helping me develop better language, better writing, so that everybody can knit this successfully. If you want references, if you want to hear from other test knitters, I am quite sure my other test knitters would be more than happy to talk to you about how we handle test knitting. It's really quite simple. You have the option of buying yarn at a discount. You get the pattern for free and all of its updates. And you sit down and you knit it. And you let me know what you like, what you don't like, what you have questions about. And send me some pictures. Feel free to list it on your project page. Take photos of it. Share it with the world. And we work hand in hand to the rough end date. And you basically just, you know, let me know what you thought about it. And you're good to go. No hard structure. No big demands. Knitting police won't come after you if you miss the deadline, if it takes you 2 years to do it. I still want your feedback, because although the pattern may have been published, you may still find something years out that will help somebody else, and that is important. That's what I want. So feel free to volunteer. I would love to work with you. What else have I got? What have I been dyeing? Nothing. I took a whole break from dyeing this weekend, doctor's orders, just because I was exacerbating my situation, lifting and being in boiling and standing for 8 hours and huffing and puffing, and I'm taking time. I'm trying to heal myself. I'll be right back at it as soon as this is passed, believe it. Acquisitions. So, when I'm not knitting and I'm not dyeing, and I'm sitting on my sofa and I'm bored and I'm depressed, oh, smartphones are dangerous, and I am on everybody's mail list. Sale, sale, sale. Look, pretty yarn. I did some shopping. Let's begin with, I wanted some more commercial yarn for socks. As much as I love hand-dyed yarns, sometimes I want something self-patterning. Sometimes I want something really cheap and highly durable. Sometimes, as much as I love hand-painted yarns, hand-dyed yarns from indie dyers, I want to give them a bigger stage than feet. So, when that is desirable, when that is the way, I go to I Love Knitting, or I go over to Webs and I order sock yarns. And you saw the size of that bag pass in front, didn't you? They they were $7 a skein, 100-gram skeins. Who says no to $7 socks? Hand knit, nice wool and nylon. I bought yarn. Oh Lord. It is, I'm not even gonna try to say the name of it, it's Regia. It's the 4-ply. It is, I think this is a 75, it is 75% wool, 25% polyamide. I have, the lighting in here is a little bit rough. This is our studio lights. Thank you guys for your support. You financed the studio lights. You made it possible for me to sit here and film at 6 o'clock at night in a poorly lit studio, and I appreciate that. But the colors you see may not be very accurate. And the colors are not listed with good names online. They had names, but on the balls they don't. And I haven't loaded them yet to Ravelry, which usually helps me sort out the names again. But this was a colorway that I had worked with before. I knit some socks for John in this. They fit him. They fit him. And I washed those socks recently. He had put them in the hand washables, and I washed them, and they were out on the drying rack, and I was looking at them, and I was like, oh, I love those socks. When did I wear those last? I have never. There it is. But I love the yarn so much, I was like, you know what? I might need a pair of those. So I bought a skein of that. Let's see, I gotta block my face and try and turn the ball for you. There we go. I bought another skein of that. I can't remember the name of it. And of course, it's $7 a skein and free shipping if you spend Osterman Step, which I believe is a German company. This one is also $75.25. Another pretty colorway. And yeah, they're darks, they're grays, they're not real exciting, but they're more subdued office kind of colors for work, you know. Yes, I have fun socks that I wear to work, and nobody ever sees them and nobody cares, but every once in a while I want to wear something a little bit more subdued rather than my crazy red and green stripes. And there was this one. This is also a Regia. And this one's like denims and blues. And I'm sorry, the colors are coming out awful. This one is really slatey grays with a slight kind of lavender bit of a tone to it. This is the Step again. And I'm sorry, I don't have color names. I have numbers if you're interested, but I'll try to get these listed in my Ravelry stash in the very near future for you guys. And then I have one that was in beiges that I thought was really pretty. Again, this is a self-patterning by Step. We're in the Step line by Osterman. It's browns and beiges and has, you know, different work that's going to look like a little bit of Fair Isle. And then I got one fun colored one because we can't be normal across the board here. I got in the Regia the color, and this one is like circus tint. This is reds and greens and blues and very primary colors, and it's really pretty and exciting, and that one's going to be fun. Now, they're all self-patterning yarns, and you know what my go-to pattern is for self-patterning yarns. I'm going to knit probably most of these in the Squircle heel, just because it makes such gorgeous, gorgeous use of self-patterning yarns and makes those stripes just stand out fun and beautiful. But I'm going to play more likely with the patterning a little bit more on the legs, depending on how self-patterning the yarns are. Or I'm going to have an awful lot of vanilla with some really cool patterns. Either is fine by me. They're going to be fun, and I'm going to knit them. One or two of those pairs are probably going to be for John, because he really, really liked the socks that fit him, and having a couple extra pairs for his road trips and everything. I literally think I'm going to take the project bag and put the yarn that I bought for him in it and take it to work and only work at it on my lunch break so he never sees it. He doesn't see it traveling or anything, and make him a couple pairs of socks. And I'm only doing this because he would be like, oh, you don't have to do that. You don't have to make me. It's a gift. Cope. Anywho, so that was really fun shopping, but it wasn't enough. Shannon Shaw, you've heard me talk about her yarns 100,000 times. I am a huge fan. I'm addicted to supernatural yarns. Her work is beautiful, and she caught me up. I wasn't paying any attention, and she had a sale in her shop. It has passed. I'm sorry. I wish I filmed a little bit quicker so that I could really give you these announcements. But please, check her out. If you're on Ravelry, she often has ads. She has a group. Follow her. Her ads come up all the time, and she has great sales. Great sales. Never mind, her product is worth every dime full price. But if you're not actively looking for yarn and a sale comes up, Shannon. So, 20% off, I got hooked. And I went in and I found this very, very pretty colorway. This is called Hocus Pocus. I think it's lovely. It is sky tealy blues headed off into rich cornflower blues, and there is reds and purples in here with, of course, light cream colors. It's lovely. I don't wear blue very often because it's not great on my skin tone, but I can mix this with something and make it absolutely lovely, or it will become socks. Either is fine. This is on her Pixie sock base. It is a 75-25% merino versus nylon, 463 yards. Squishy and so pretty. So pretty. Shannon, your yarn colors just make me dream, and half of them look like dreams. And what I love about this industry, what I love about being an indie dyer, and why I am so open and I share my work and my techniques with people, and am more than happy to answer questions about how I do things. Feel free to ask. Ask about my equipment. Ask about my suppliers. Ask about my dye techniques. Why? Why am I so willing to share? Because I can't reproduce this. If I had her recipe, if she was standing in my kitchen, maybe we could reproduce this. Every one of them's unique. And I've talked to you guys about this 100 times before. This is art. And it is so reliant on your water, your exact measurements, your level of acidity, which again is tripped up and influenced by your tap water, your pots, your heat selection, how accurate your heat is, the mixture of the dyes, how you've added the dyes. You can put the exact same dye recipe on this yarn 100 different ways and have it come out different. I relate this very much to the Toll House cookie recipe. That recipe is probably 100 years old, I don't know. And yet you follow the instructions and use the exact same ingredients, and I follow the instructions and I use the exact same ingredients, and our cookies will be different. And that is love. And that is the baker's hand. And these things influence the end product. And the same as with yarn. And I have so much appreciation for the art that goes into this, and so much love for the dyers who go out there and risk people stealing colorways. Good luck. Imitate me all you want. Best of sales to you, because we're making art and we're building an industry full of love. Thank you. I've been looking at this colorway for a while on her shop. And I actually, when you see the color, you're going to think I'm insane when I say this. I'm thinking about custom ordering enough to make a sweater. Because I don't have enough yarn. And because I make sweaters so very, very often. But this color tantalizes me. And it's interesting. I think it would be really, really cool as a sweater, just because it's so very different from what I'm seeing out there. And let me show you the yarn. This one is done on her Griffin sock. This is a 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, because I'm a sucker and I love a little bling in my life. The colorway is Swan. It has a very deep, dark eggplant. It has this beautiful, almost rich, deep orchid purple here. And it has this bright pop of this sun yellow. I love it. I love it. I love the juxtaposition of the colors. I love how they blend into each other. And I just feel like this would make a really neat variegated sweater. I don't know why. I don't know why. This is not the most flattering yellow on my skin tone. This is not the most flattering purple on this skin tone, but I'm just entranced. Shannon, this color just, I have stared at this for so long in her shop. I love it. I love it. And Shannon, very much like myself, she will dye up a custom order. No questions, no problems. She'll talk to you about bases if you have questions about bases. And I don't believe there's any surcharge for custom orders. I know I don't charge one, and I'm almost positive she has never charged me for a custom order. Certainly reach out to her if you're seeing a color here that you are like, that is my next cardigan. Do it. Reach out to her, and or me, or whoever, whatever designer. I can't imagine a designer saying, sorry, I'm not going to make a sweater quantity of that. We're going to do it. We're going to help you. I also, because dust and that sort of thing is really good for asthma, I had popped into my favorite used bookstore up the street. Wonderful company, privately owned. Place is called Under Charlie's Covers. It's in Bernalillo, New Mexico. This is the most epic used bookstore. She has millions of books. She has read, if she has read less than 70% of her stock, I would be amazed. Any book, she immediately knows the author, she knows the synopsis, she loved it, she hated it. She will be honest with you, she'll tell you. I just love her. I love her. And the shop is so slam full. Every bookshelf is loaded. There are books stacked on top of the shelves. There are books stacked on the floor in front of shelves. She has surplus in boxes. She has collectible. It's a book reader's heaven. It's wonderful. So I go in there and I plunk down on the floor and I start roughing through stacks like crazy, and the dust is... Yeah, I know. Not the best environment right now, but I needed some books. I am an active, avid reader. I have a book on my dining room table for breakfast, and I have a book bedside table, and I have a book often at work for breaks. I have a book that sometimes I carry with me, and I have a book at my knitting table. A lot of people are like, no, if I can read one book at a time, I'm doing well. For me, the way my mind works, it's like walking into the family home and going and talking to your sister in this room and your mother in that room and helping your grandparents in that room. My mind just compartmentalizes, and wherever I am, that book is that room, and that's why they don't often travel with me. They have specific spots that they sit at. Currently, and I found another copy, but I think I've owned this book 3 times. I found another copy of it and I snatched it right up because it's nostalgic and it's warm, and it fills, when I don't feel like knitting, it fills my knitter heart. It gives me something I can relate to and something I love and something that's comfortable that is very knitter. This is a Yarny classic. This is The Secret Life of a Knitter by the yarn harlot Stephanie Pearl McPhee. If you have never read this book, go get a copy of it. Really, order it online. Stephanie is so real and so accessible and so funny and such a good writer. I love this book. I love this book. Literally, I think I've owned it 3 times. I use my used bookstore like a library. I used to be very avid with my library. I need to get back to my library. I do support libraries. But my used bookstore is a single-owned small company. And with bookstores going out of business left, right, and center, I go in and I buy the book. I read the book. If it's a classic and I love it, it hits my shelf. If it's a book that I don't necessarily think I'm ever going to read again, I take it back. She does a buyback program, and I use my credit to buy other books. So I'm in there. She knows my last name, and if any of you know my last name, you know that is a tough one, and she can spell it and knows how to say it. She really a great shop. But Stephanie writes from the heart, and she writes very real, and her stories are, it's all a bunch of little short chapter stories, and I think I even bought another book of hers. I haven't dug into it yet, but this has been living on my kitchen table, and as I haven't been knitting recently, I've been sitting down with one of my favorite knitter writers and really enjoying the process and the experience that people have. Can't recommend this one enough. I love it, and I'm so happy to have another copy of it. And this one is staying on my bookshelf permanently. And what do you bet? What do you bet when I go to put it on that bookshelf, I'll find a copy of it? Oh, I forgot to tell you. So I bought those 2 skeins from Supernatural Yarns, but of course, there was a bag, and it had my name on it. It's a wonder it wasn't titled Just Buy This. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, tying into the books. I think I've read the entire series. I might be on my 7th pass, 7th, 8th, 9th pass, somewhere in there. I'm on book 7 again. Yes, Dumbledore's dead. I've cried. It was heart-wrenching. And I'm plowing through it again. I love the series, and I relate to the series, and would recommend it to anyone. But the characters are so alive for me, and I feel like I meet them every day. I experience people like that every day that are full of heart, or full of talent, or full of joy and love and magic in their own ways. She had this bag. The fabric is so flippin' cute. Look at that. It has all the characters on it. It has Mad-Eye Moody. It has Moaning Myrtle. It has McGonagall. It has just everybody on here. Luna Lovegood's on here with her little glasses. Everybody's here. And yeah, I mean, even Dobby. Who doesn't love Dobby? He's wonderful. I saw this and I had to snatch it up. Did I need another project bag? But I love it. I love it. So I got that, and this was part of her sale. And Shannon, where do you find these fabrics? All of you, there are great fabrics out there right now. Really, really wonderful fabrics. Let's see. Commercial sock yarn. The sock yarn from Shannon, the bag from Shannon, my Yarn Harlot book, those are my acquisitions this week. And that actually is, that's a lot. That's a lot. We're going to knock that up to, that was my Christmas present to myself. No, I already bought a Christmas present. This was my birthday present. My birthday was in January. We'll call it my birthday present. Or, you know what? It's my Valentine's gift to myself. There we go. There we go. I really try to purchase from small companies. Am I actively stuck on Shannon? Yeah, I love her. But I buy from indie dyers all the time, and I'm not real good about showing those to you, and I'm really going to make an effort to do more of that. If you are an indie dyer, tell me, because I am a big mouth, and I will share your yarns with everybody, and I will share your sales. I really believe in small business and want to give back to you folks as much as possible and get you the attention you deserve. Okay, Patreon. I think next weekend is a drawing weekend. Let's see, what was today? I'm not so good with my dates. I think, yes, end of month is midweek, so next weekend, assuming no technical problems this month with Patreon and they're able to do the charge outs in a timely fashion, next week will be a Patreon weekend. My apologies. The technical glitches that we have experienced are completely outside of my control. They are forthcoming. They do tell us, they do have a tendency to tell us a little bit late, just because they are working with their own vendors to figure out what is happening, and don't want to cause panic. But I suspect that after the debacle last month, where it took almost 2 weeks, that they are likely either resolved or very close to resolved, and we should not have these problems going forward. Fingers crossed. That having been said, that means we have drawings coming up where you win skeins. We have subscription people who definitely get skeins every month, and I did dye that yarn up. So I'm giving you a sneak peek this week. If you are considering joining as a patron, You have plenty of time. You will get this yarn, and it's gorgeous. I'm very excited about it. I think it's one of my favorite colorways, and it's a little bit of a diversion from some of the colorways I've done recently. John named it. Not that you care how it got named, but I had dyed it and it was beautiful and I loved it, but I was kind of stuck. I'm not sure why I had difficulty naming this, because as soon as I tell you and show you this yarn and what it was named, you'll be like, duh. Honey, that was obvious. You couldn't come up with that? But every once in a while I do get stuck. And in this particular case, I had the yarn all done and twisted up, and I went into him. He was in the garage working on a motorcycle. I know, surprise, right? And I said, I'm stuck. I don't know what to call this. I didn't have it with me. It was in the kitchen. He didn't even see it, and he came up with the name. I said, I'm really stuck. I want to name this, but I'm just not wrapping my head around this. I don't think I even told him what color it was. I didn't say, oh, it's red. And he just turned to me and goes, well, you're in a pickle, aren't you? This colorway ranges from a dark, kind of a cucumber skin green up through a very acid, vinegar treated, pickled color. There are some very light tones in here, and I apologize, it is quite dark in here and we are working with studio lighting. It may not be picking up the best colors, and I will show it to you again and again and again. There are some sections here that are real light and have a little bit of a blue hue to it, but otherwise it is a broad range. There is a little bit, and it's not a speckled yarn, but there's a little bit of small breakage in the dyes in places here that give it that even more pickle look, where you have all the variations in the skins and the seeds and everything else. It's pickle. It's in a pickle. He named it. He knows these things. He just comes up with this stuff randomly, out of the blue, off the cuff, and he is always dead right. Don't you just love people like that? It's coming out extremely acid in the light in here, and I apologize for that. I will try to show you again in other ways, in other photos. It's lovely. If you have any love of pickles, you're totally gonna dig on this color. And every one of them is twisted up differently, so I'm showing you multiple skeins, hoping that you'll be able to get some kind of a read on this color and be able to appreciate it. I love it. I love it. It is vibrant. I'm not going to lie to you. It is pickle. It is bright. It's not dull, all natural pickles. It is dill, kosher, Heinz. It is a bright pickle. I'm very excited to offer that this month, especially where you're going to have it in time for St. Patrick's Day. It is not a traditional St. Patrick's green, but it is a green. It is a green. Very excited about that, and I'm very proud to have kind of a different colorway out to you guys. This is very tonal. This is a high contrast tonal, and it is fun. I think that is everything I have for you guys this week. Check my cheat sheet. I do make notes so that I don't forget too much. Yeah, that's it. Oh, life news. Because I just share too much, I think, sometimes. You guys all knew that we have a dog. We lost a couple dogs over the past year. And so we have our dog, Rudy. You might have seen him a couple times, or certainly if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen him. And we've tried a couple times to adopt again and get a friend for Rudy, because he's getting a little fat from lack of exercise and too much time with Daddy on the sofa. And I feel very much that if I were in a foreign country with people that spoke a language that I understood this much of, I would want somebody who spoke my language as a companion. And I feel like his experience is that he is alone, that he needs a companion. And so, like I said, we've tried a couple times. We did have one temporary adoption that 2 weeks in unfortunately resulted in the death of a couple chickens. And unfortunately we did have to return her and have her rehomed. We were very sad about that, and it's taken us a month to really get over that. We had gone out to the adoption agency again, and of course they have a website which I refer to as the dating site because I'm always flipping through looking for females. And we had gotten up there, and one of the dogs that was on the list was actually leaving with a potential adoption as we pulled in. And I was a little bummed about that, but we went and we looked at another dog, and we tried to take them on a date where we take them for a walk, and she ripped into him. she was having none of him, and he's really passive, so it was, you know, she maybe needs a single dog home, and I hope that they are able to place her. But we left kind of dejected, and we tried another adoption agency that was unrelated, and we tried another location, the one that we really liked, and looked at puppies because we're psychotic and seem to think that we need puppies in our lives. And we were kind of dejected, and we walked away from that. And then this weekend was a National Adoption Weekend, and so we randomly, right before I went into the urgent care to check my asthma, this was a smart activity. I presented all of my symptoms, and they could clearly see what was wrong with me. So, you know, a happy accident. We went into PetSmart, and the adoption agency that we really prefer was there. And I was walking down the lane of all the dogs inside because it was really cold out. And the very last cage had the dog that we had been wanting to look at. She had been returned because they had a cat in their house that was not looking forward to a 13-month-old plaything. And sadly, they loved her, but they needed to choose between an established pet and her because she just was too rambunctious for the cat. She wanted to chase and play, and not all cats are chase and play with 13-month-old 60-pound dogs. So we took her for a walk. We did our date with Rudy, who made Mama proud. He walked into PetSmart without choosing to declare his ownership of anything. Yay, such a good boy. He was so handsome. And we did our date, and they got along pretty good. So we have done the trial adoption, and we have a new doggie in the house, and I'm very excited at that. We're hesitant. We're a little afraid that there may be some prey drive, and we may have some concerns with the chickens again. The chicken coop is extremely fortified, but a dog that wants to eat a chicken is going to eat a chicken. Circle of life. That's all there is to it. So we're hesitant, but right now everything looks good, and we're really hoping that this adoption sticks. We are tentatively calling her Lily, and she's so compatible for him. They are so pretty together because, you know, looks matter. But they're so compatible. Anybody who's followed me has seen the videos of Rudy playing with his favorite toy, which is a basketball. Heaven sent, she came home, she took one look at that basketball, and she started to play with it. So we went out today, and we found a soccer ball as well. We partially deflate it, they grab it, they run around the whole yard with it, they play with it, they do this funny growling play and this chuffing, which is like a dog's laughter, and they love it. And it's so encouraging to see that they have a toy in common that happens to be kind of a rare toy that they just love. So the interaction and the play thus far is really good. We also stopped by a secondhand store, and I found a dining room table that has leaves that expand up, and it has the drop-ins that you can put in to expand it. It didn't come with the center leaves, the drop-ins, the expanders that you can use, but this is a huge table. There's a couple spots that are rough on it, but ultimately we've been looking for a table that was flexible in its size for my studio for a long time, for a blocking table and for staging for my yarns when I'm tying and labeling and everything. And I've got like a 3-table system that's all kind of, we've looked at this since I renovated my studio several years back now. We randomly found it at a Savers, which is a resale store for Big Brothers Big Sisters in town. It was marked $25, which was a scream. It has one of the leaf struts was broken. John's already repaired it. It doesn't have the center leaves. We can buy wood and cut and sand to fit that. That's not a problem. Happy, excited to do that. $25 for this table. Screaming deal, screaming deal. So happy. Repairs are not a problem. $25 for the solution we've been looking for years for my studio. Took the tag, the claim tag, went up to the register, was checking out. I'm like, John, can you believe this? We're going to get this table for $25. Can you believe this? What I didn't catch was that it had a yellow price tag on it. And today was 50% off yellow tag furniture. I got that table for $12.50. That pays for the wood for the center extension. That paid for the long screws and the glue necessary to fix part of the leaf, the extender. What a gift. What a gift. Thank you. Thank you. That was the last thing that my studio needed. That is the one thing that we have worked so hard to find, and it was at a point where I was like, we're never going to find it. We just need to build one. And we even looked at extenders and all the, we're not woodworkers. We can repair, but we don't have the capacity to sort out and build things like that. YouTube classes, doesn't matter. We're just not inclined that way. What a gift. And I'm so excited. I can't wait. I've snapped a couple pictures of it mid-repair. We are going to put risers on it and bring it up to hip level, so I really have capacity to use this to make this exactly what we want and what we need. And I couldn't be happier. I'm going to be able to replace some table. I'm going to donate those tables right back down there to where I got this at such a deal and give back, because thank you. Thank you. So things are looking rosy. I just need to do my medicine and push through the last little bit and some of the side effects of this, and it's gonna be really good. And I am excited for spring, and I'm excited for doing this with you all, and I'm excited for another test knit, and I think we're gonna have a giveaway come up really soon, so stay tuned. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Thank you for all of your love and your support and your kindness. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to love you back and share these things that I love with you so much. This is the coolest thing in the world. And I just want to say how much I appreciate you all and how much love I have for you, and that all are welcome and all are equal. You guys have a great week. I'll see you next week. We're going to do drawings. I hope. Please, no technical whammies. Bye. Do you have a new ball? No! What you got? Happy girl.